Hi, my name is Dennis McCoy, and I'll be your teacher, commentator, writer, etc. throughout this video. I recently turned pro after finishing out last year as the #1 amateur in the AFA Master Series, and so far this year I've done quite well. I competed at the contest in Compton, California, as well as the one in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and took the overall in the pro division at both of those contests. Okay, what I'd like to mention first off is some of my sponsors. There are Haro Designs, of course, is the main one. Then I have Midwest National, which brought us this video. Then Peregrine is one of my co-sponsors, as well as Mushrooms with ODI Mushroom Grips. Beyond that, I'd also like to mention the importance of safety gear. Notice I'm wearing Haro leather pants with styrofoam knee pads. Then I have a long sleeve jersey, something to protect your elbows and arms, helmet, and later on I'll be putting on some gloves, and when we come back later for the ramp portion, I'll put on a pair of elbow guards and a mouth guard. You definitely want to be fully protected before you try any of these things, especially the ramps. It's just not worth taking a chance. Okay, I guess we'll move inside now to start out with our ground trick demonstrations, and be back out here later on to show you some stuff on the ramp. Okay, for front wheel hops, you enter the trick at a medium speed and you lock the front brake. The idea is to get as far forward as possible without falling over. The farther forward you get, the less strength it takes to do the hops. Here, I'll demonstrate. Try and make your hops nice and smooth, and for an added feature, try hopping in a circle. To do that, lean your weight the direction you want to hop, and turn your handlebars the opposite direction. Drop down and ride away. Ride forward on the rear chainstays or axle pegs. Get into the trick to a slide endo by locking the front brake. lock the back brake, and go into some hops, just like a pogo stick. Then you can do some variations if you'd like, grabbing the front wheel, crossing up the bars. Choose your imagination and come up with some things of your own. To get out of the trick, simply put your foot back on the pedal, drop the front end, and ride away. Now, the first thing with the bar hop is just getting over the fear to jump over the handlebars. First time through, I would just try and jump the bars, land on the ground. If you have to, let go of the bike. If you can hold on, that's great. Next time through, or maybe after you go through that a few times, try to sit down on the handlebars. The balance point isn't really that difficult. It's just learning to lean your weight, shift your weight a little bit backwards. So the next time you hop through, take off hands if you can. Do the rear infinity roll, ride up with one of your feet on the rear chainstays, whichever one feels comfortable. Put the other foot on the back tire as you do a front endo. Kick the back wheel, pump it smoothly and gently while the handlebar is turned to rotate the bike in a circle. As you get to the balance point, you might want to try taking off your hand and placing it on the seat. And then speeding up the spin for a variation. To come out of the trick, simply time to when the pedals are coming around, set your foot down and ride out. To do the front wheel infinity roll, ride forward with your right foot on the left chainstay, your left foot on the left pedal. Place your left foot on the tire, your right foot in between the sprocket. Then switch feet onto the fork peg and the tire. You should be grabbing the handlebar and the seat with your right hand, holding them together. Start pumping the wheel to rotate your bike in a circle, but watch out from falling forward. If you start to fall too far forward, just simply grab the front brake. If you start to fall too far backwards, lean your weight forward. It's a very simple trick. And after a while, you can learn to rotate with as few pumps as possible. To ride out of the trick, set your pedal up to where the left pedal is up, horizontal. Then place your right foot on the sprocket, your left foot on the pedal, uncross the bars. Ride into balance tricks the same way you did the front wheel infinity roll. There's about 1 million different variations. I'm just going to be showing you a couple. You could probably come up with a few of your own. If you're doing a front wheel infinity roll just for looks, balance, shift your left leg onto the tire and go into a wheel stand. Climb over the handlebars, and after you get your balance, take off limbs and smile, wave at the crowd. Another variation is to take your right leg, place it between the seat post and the handlebar to keep the handlebar from turning. Take off both hands. Those are just a couple of the millions of basic balance tricks you could go through. To exit the trick, simply do another front wheel infinity roll and come out the same way as you did that trick. In order to do the rock walk, you need to ride forward at a medium speed, turn the back end of the bike around 180 degrees. You achieve that by grabbing the front wheel and shifting your hips to the left or the right, depending on which way you do the trick. Now the key is to not use the brakes. If you use the brakes, you won't have enough momentum to come out of the second part of the trick. I'll demonstrate. To come out of the second part, simply press forward on the pedal that is in the forward direction. For me, it would be the left pedal. I press forward and that twists the bike around another 180 degrees. To do the grasshopper, ride forward at a slow speed with your feet on the rear chainstays or axle pegs. do a slight endo on the front wheel, and come back on the back wheel and sort of do a reverse bunny hop. Don't lock the back brake. That's the key to the trick, not to lock the back brake. Simply shift your weight backwards, and when you land on the front wheel, repeat the procedure again until you get a nice flowing motion. I'll demonstrate. To ride out of the trick, time the pedals. When they come back into their position, step on it right away. If you have a coaster brake, the pedal will already be there. A variation of this trick is called the moving or rolling grasshopper. To do this, just don't clamp down onto the front brake as hard. Slightly let off and allow the front wheel to roll as you're moving backwards. I'll demonstrate once again. And once again right away. Do the bar endo, ride forward at a medium speed, and prepare to lock the front brake. As you lock it, take your left hand off the handlebar, reach back and grab the seat with it, and at the same time cross up the bars and lean the bike forward. You hold it in that position for a split second, and then pull back hard, snap out of the trick. I'll demonstrate. To do the Miami hopper, you go through the same procedures you did for the bar endo. The only difference is you wait for the grip to touch the ground. If you run a front axle peg like I do, you're going to run into a bit of a problem. The axle peg will hit before the grip, which lifts the front tire off the ground. To compensate for it, just simply twist the handlebars to the left to hit your balance point. Let me demonstrate. Then you can take your left foot, place it on the brake handle, your right foot on the seat post, take off no hands. To exit the trick, now this is the hard part, you need to lift your left pedal up to about a 45-degree angle, and then pull back hard with your right and left hand on the seat post and the brake handle. And right away. To do the front wheel spin, you ride forward at between a slow and fast speed, depending on how far along you learn the trick. I go into it kind of fast, but I spin farther than you probably will at first. The idea is to go forward and lock the front brake after the front wheel is crabbed a bit. What you want to do is get your body as steep as possible, your bike and body, and spin on the tire. You don't want to rotate around the tire, but you actually want to spin on the tire, holding the handlebars in place. Don't get discouraged if you only spin 180, 270 degrees at first. Gradually, you'll learn how to spin more. And right away. So to do the tail spin, you need to ride forward at a medium speed and switch your right leg over the frame. Then all at one time, you want to lock the front brake, place your right foot on top of the tire and sort of in the forks, and then kick your left leg on the left pedal to kick the bike toward the right. Get it in a spinning motion. When the bike comes around, you want to stop it with your left foot and set your right foot on the right pedal, which should be set up. Now the way you get it to be set up each time is to time it. When you kick this left foot around, the cranks are going to turn. You want to watch the pedal, and when it hits the horizontal position, lock the back brake. It might be a little difficult at first, but after a while it becomes second nature and you can hit it every time. Okay, let me run through it real quick. There it is. Now that's still a basic trick, more or less. What adds some flair is to hit 2, 3, maybe even 4. To do that, you step over the frame, place your foot back onto the tire. When it comes around again, hop over again and place your foot down onto the tire. To do this, the balance has to be perfect. You have to have your weight leaned real far forward, not back as you normally would in a single tail spin, but far forward, and keep a small radius as you jump over the frame. I'll demonstrate once again. And right away. To do the cherry picker, ride forward with your right pedal just beyond the tire, as I show here. Have both feet on the rear chain face to a slight endo, then pull the right foot around and place it in the tire while you place the left hand on the front tire. As soon as the right foot goes onto the back tire, pull the left foot off the axle peg. That's the most important step. You don't want the two to be on at the same time or you'll fall forward. What you want to do then is kick your left leg over onto the seat tube. If you lose balance too early, you can try hopping before the foot hits the seat tube. Here, I'll demonstrate. If you can't get the hops down at first, just practice a few, just like on front wheel hops and rear wheel hops. You'll get it with practice. For some variations, take off a hand, a foot, a hand and a foot, spin the handlebars, pose, and to come out of the trick, simply put your left foot on the handle grip, untwist the bars, put your left foot back on the pedal, and ride away. A variation of the cherry picker is the cherry picker spin. This is a move I invented myself, and I think it really adds a lot to the trick. To do the cherry picker spin, ride forward with your left pedal down. And what you're going to have to do is learn to time the pedal. You want to go into the spin as the pedal is in the same position that you went into the normal cherry picker. Now this goes a little bit fast, so I'm going to have to explain it ahead of time. What you're going to be doing is turning your body to the right and your bike to the right, locking the back brake, but then twisting your handlebars in the opposite direction, spinning, and doing the same procedure as in the normal cherry picker, only you spin up into it. I'll demonstrate. Voila. To show you another variation of coming out of the trick, I set the left foot on the seat post and come out of the trick backwards. Okay, to do the Switzerland squeaker, you want to ride forward, slow speed, with your left pedal forward. What you want to do is a little brake endo, and then lock the back brake to keep your left pedal level. Then what you want to do is take your right foot and set it on the front tire while you're in the endo position. Then what you want to do is let off of the front brake and give the front tire a little kick with your toe. When you hit the balance point again, kick it again. Keep pushing your foot onto the tire to keep the bike in motion. The main trick is to use the toes. There it is. The variation of that trick would be to do it two-footed instead of one. And maybe even can-canning. There it is. To do the vertical boomerang, you ride forward at a slow speed with your left foot on the left chainstay and your right foot on the top tube. What you want to do is do a little front brake endo, pull the back end up, and when you get about this steep or so, it's when you want to jump off of your left foot first. You don't want to jump too soon or the bike won't get steep enough. You jump off of your left foot. When your left foot comes in to meet the right, jump off of the right foot in a circular motion around the head tube of the bike. To come out of the trick, set your foot down back onto the top tube. Right pedal should be set forward. and then ride away. There it is. To go into the side glide, you want to be in the same position as you would for a front wheel infinity roll. The only difference is you want to lift up the back wheel just enough to get it off the ground, and then you pump the tire with your right foot. You want to go straight back, maybe lean the bike forward if you have to, pump it once or twice, get your balance point and hold it. The key is to use the brakes as little as possible. The way you get into that position is up to you. I'm going into it with a trick called the sweeper. To ride out of the trick, set the pedal back up, and ride away. Okay, what I'm about to show you is the basic boomerang. There's a lot of variations to this trick. You can do it without brakes, with brakes, to the left, to the right. Do one boomerang, two boomerangs, do the boomerang into other tricks, the boomerang. There's many variations. What I'm going to show you is the basic boomerang, and you can build on from there. What you do is you ride forward with your left pedal forward. This is if you're going to twist the direction that I am. If you twist the opposite way, do everything reversed. Ride forward with your left foot on the chainstay, your left pedal forward, and your right foot on the bottom bracket. You want to go forward at a very slow speed. And what the key is when you stop, you jump straight up. People seem to think that you need to jump out to go around the bike. You jump up and you twist the handlebars and your hips. That's what causes you to rotate. You also want to lock the brakes just a split second after you jump. I'll demonstrate. Onto the pedals and ride away. Now another variation of the boomerang is called the ankle buster or the boomerankle. To do that trick, I do a reverse boomerang and I don't use the brakes. I come around with the left foot, land on the pedal facing this direction, then hit the front brake at the last second to snap out of it. The boomerankle. And another variation of that would be to do two boomerangs into the boomerankle. Let me give that a try. There it is. Okay, the backwards gut lever is a variation of the normal gut lever, but in my opinion, it's a little bit easier. What you want to be doing is rolling backwards on the fork pegs with your hands backwards on the handlebars. You put your elbows down underneath your hips and shift your weight forward. You want to have your face almost touching the seat. The steeper you get the trick, the better. But also the steeper you get the trick, the scarier and the more likely to fall over. So start it out low and work your way up as you progress. To do the backwards wheelie, ride forward with your feet on the chainstays. Then you want to lock the front brake. And as you do the endo, place your right foot onto the tire. When the back wheel comes back down, pump the tire, and with using your back brakes as little as possible, coast backwards in a wheelie. You won't be getting them very far at first, but you can work on that and progress as you go along. What you want to do, though, to come out of the trick is to watch your pedal, time it. As your pedal comes up, to ride out, step on, and ride away. Here, I'll demonstrate. Now, that trick alone is so-so, but a good variation of it is a backwards wheelie in a circle. And it's really more consistent once you learn it. To do that, you're going to have to cross up the handlebars, take the hand that would normally be on the right grip and put it on your seat. lean your weight inward and press with your left foot against the side of the bike. That makes the bike rotate in a circle. And right away. To do footwork is really pretty basic. What you want to be able to do first is stand with your left foot on the tire and your right foot on the frame and be able to hold that position. Do the little hops if you have to. The basic move to footwork is just to switch your right foot to the tire, left foot back. Right foot, left foot. Now, if somebody does footwork and they do it real fast, it creates an illusion. You think they're doing a lot more than they are. At most, they're switching back and forth with a few kicks to the right foot. Maybe every once in a while they'll throw in a can-can. But basically, that's all there is to it. And then you add in your own boomerangs and tail whips to add variation. But basically, it's back and forth. After you learn that step, you learn how to do the footwork faster. Add in some boomerangs and tail whips, as I'm about to demonstrate. As you notice, I did the same steps back and forth, but just speeded them up and added a little flair. That's all there is to footwork. Hi, this is Dennis again. I'm out here in front of BMX Pro's bike shop, also the home of Midwest National Mail Order in Kansas City, Missouri. That's Kansas City, the home of Brian Belcher, Rick Moliterno, myself, and world champion Kansas City Royals. Well, anyways, I'm going to get started here in a minute on the small ramp over here and the quarter pipe, showing you a few of the basics. I'm just going to go through a step-by-step procedure on some of the easier tricks, get you started, and show you some footage of some of the radder things that maybe you can advance up to eventually. Another thing I want to stress is that I'm going to add on some safety gear. I'm going to put on my Haro mouth guard and Haro elbow guards before I get started. The elbow guards have some plastic cups in them that will prevent your elbows from getting injured, and the mouth guard, believe me, it does protect your face. I injured one of my teeth once without using it, and I haven't been hurt since. So I can't stress that enough, to wear your safety gear on the ramps especially. To do the basic stall, coast forward at the ramp at a medium speed. When your front wheel gets about halfway up the ramp, pull up into a slight coast wheelie and coast up toward the top. When you feel comfortable with your position, lock the back brake, hang the front wheel over, stall for a minute, then hop back in and roll away. I'll demonstrate. Now that's your basic stall. A variation of that would be to ride up forward on the chain stays and do a one-handed, one-footed crossed up stall. Next trick is called a front wheel roll. The idea is to go up to the edge of the ramp, or close enough to the edge to where you feel comfortable, do a small endo, and slightly let off the front brake to allow you to roll down the ramp on your front wheel. Don't overdo it, and if you start to loop out, just jump off and land on your feet. Okay, to take two tricks and connect it is a lot of times a good idea. So what I'm going to do is take this basic stall and front wheel roll and connect them together to make a trick that's twice as good. Okay, this next trick's called bar endo. It's just like the bar endo on flatland, only you do it on a small ramp. And the idea is to get as close to the edge of the ramp as possible. Don't go too close at first, just work your way up as you feel comfortable. A variation of that might be to do a one-handed. Smile at the camera. Okay, this next trick is a front wheel 360 on the small ramp. The same as a front wheel spin on the flat ground, only you do it on the ramp instead. This next trick is called the 540 rear wheel spin. The way to go into that is to approach the ramp with both feet on the axle pegs. As you get closer, take off your right foot, do a slight coast wheelie up the ramp, and with the front wheel still barely off the ramp, lock the back brake and kick the bike into a spin. It helps you to pull the right leg in while you're spinning. It'll speed it up. And you want to have your right pedal forward as you go into the trick in order to have speed to come out. Okay, this last trick is known as the kick turn, just the basic kick turn. The idea is just to approach the ramp at a medium speed, do a slight coast wheel up the ramp, lock the back brake, and pivot around 180 degrees and ride out. The idea is to go farther and farther up the small ramp as you progress until you get close to the edge. Now, there's tons of variations to this trick and a lot more still to be invented. I'm just going to demonstrate the basic kick turn. Okay, now I'm getting ready to start riding the quarter pipe here. Some of the things I'm going to be showing you are just basic ramp tricks. Show you about the basic air, a few different ways to drop in and so forth. And then I'll also have a demonstration of just, some of the radder things done on a ramp. But I'll leave that for later as far as any type of clinic or anything. I wanted to start out with the basics. On ramp, it's better to get a hang of the basics first before you really try any advanced type tricks. Notice also that I've put on some elbow guards and a mouth guard for riding the quarter pipe as well as the small ramp. That's two pieces of added safety equipment that you might, want to go ahead, that you should go ahead and put on if you're going to attempt to ride either of these ramps. Okay, so I guess I'll get started with what's known as a foot plant. And the idea of the foot plant is just to approach the ramp at a medium speed, kind of carve up the ramp, go up at an angle, take off your outside foot, in my case it'd be the left foot, set it down on the platform, it's the top of the ramp, pull the bike up into you, stall for a second, and then drop back down in. Now the idea of pop-out is real similar to the foot plant. You do the same thing as a foot plant until you get to the point when you set your foot down on the platform. Instead of stalling and coming back in, shift your weight back, extend your leg, and get up on top of the ramp. There's your basic pop-out. Now, one of the most basic ways to get back in is simply riding in. Set up sideways on the edge. If you run freewheel, it's a little bit easier. If you run a coaster brake, it can still be done. Set your pedals level on the edge of the ramp. And what you want to do is pedal forward a bit, hang the front wheel over, and then do a small hop, almost a bunny hop, to get down into the ramp. Now the rollback is simply, as it's stated, a rollback. Approach the ramp, roll up, and roll back. But learning the rollback is a definite advantage towards learning the fakie, which is what I'm about to demonstrate now. Fakie air, since we roll up the ramp, when you get to the point where you feel comfortable, pull both wheels off and come back down, landing backwards and rolling out. The higher the radder, but of course the higher, the scarier and the more dangerous. So work your way up. Okay, this next trick is back wheel hop drop in. Object is to go up, fly out on the ramp, land on your back wheel with your brake locked, and go into back wheel hops. The hard part is landing up there. Back wheel hop to the edge of the ramp, and then drop in.